Welcome, gamers, to the start of a new Let's Play series. We're going to be looking at Brigandine, the Legend of Runersia. This is an incredible game. It's three games in one, basically. You've got like a really fleshed out JRPG, like a Japanese role-play game. You've also got like a fairly in-depth strategy game, like where you're actually sort of like on an overworld. Now, there's no random maps. All the maps, including the tactical maps, are all crafted, and it actually works for this game. Like, I still would love to have a random map version of the game. I want a random map version of every game ever made. But anyway, this game, it's sort of like, it's got the overworld is not overwhelming, and it sort of works very well. It's almost like a board game sort of feel to it. And then you've got the tactical battles, and the tactical battles are about as intricate as Age of Wonders tactical battles, to sort of put that into some sort of context. And all of the three areas work very, very, very well. Now, I know that the JRPG style is not to everyone's liking. I happen to really like manga sort of style. I see it as cultural art. I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy sort of seeing it. Like, I like the sort of the campy, sort of cringy aspect to it. I find it funny and entertaining. So anyway, that's where we are through here. So Brigandine, as I say, this should be a fun series. Now, what I'm going to do here is, I don't know if I will go through too much of the JRPG stuff. I think I'll just try to sort of skip over most of it. A lot of it is fairly immature, I guess, in the sort of sense that it actually does sort of, each faction focuses on sort of unusual things. I'll just get into it and sort of show it. There is the explanation of how Runersia came about, and the rune knights that are there is actually, it's interesting to sort of watch that, like the interplay there. It's fairly long, so I think I'll skip over it. Anyway, let's just press the button. We'll start a new game back in through here, and I hope I've got my sound levels all okay. So, Legend of Runersia, main mode. Let's click onto this one through here, and there we go. So this is the overview. And it's all the voiceover is done in Japanese, and it sounds really, really good. Like, the voice acting is incredibly good. Anyway, we'll skip over this stuff. It's just going through how mana is sort of created in the world, and how the rune knights sort of came about. And then there's these special weapons called the Brigandines, which different factions have got. Let's just press N and then go yes. One of the negatives with the game is the actual the user interface with the keyboards. This game was released initially on PlayStation and also on Switch. I think Switch is sort of like, has been their main market, and it's just coming to PC now. But if you think of your keyboard as a Switch controller, I think that's helpful. If you've got a Switch, you sort of are using both hands with different buttons and things all over the place, and it sort of feels like, I find that you fairly quickly get into a position where you're using the keys that you need to be using. For example, the K key is your main key in this game, believe it or not. So, but you are using a lot of the keys on both sides of your keyboard, so just be aware of that one. Yeah, it's sort of funny. Like, I am using the mouse. I use the mouse as much as I can, but it's one of those things. A lot of what you do, it's better to just use the keys and pretend that it's a Switch controller. I haven't tried it with a controller, by the way, so I should actually try that one. So this is Runersia, year 781. 5 nations and 1 tribe plunge the land of Runersia into a new era of chaos. 6 rulers and their rune knights throw themselves into the flames of war, each with their own hopes and expectations. So what it is it's you've got 5 nations and 1 tribe. Like, so there's 6 players. You can play as any of 6 different characters on the actual map itself. Anyway, we'll just click on next, and there they are. There's the different 6. And so I'll just do a quick rundown of what each of the factions actually is, and I guess the corniness, I guess, of the JRPG aspect. So this is the Norzalia Kingdom, which I guess is your default kingdom. It's a good one to start on. It's a good one to play as, because it's only really got 2 entries into its landmass. So there's only sort of like, strategically, it's an easy one for you to control, which is not too bad. And so, this is the prince, the new ruler of the Norzalia Kingdom, and he's his whole shtick is that he's a playwright, and all he wants to do is go and write plays. So that's sort of like the JRPG aspect of that one there. If we just go and press once again the WASD keys, this is the Republic of Guimul, and just you can sort of see this one is more like Britain, this one is more like France, for example. And so this country is, or this republic, is all about. I think it's all like it's a lot of this one is all to do about dancing. Like so, dancing is their sort of shtick. JRPG focus. It's not it doesn't come into the fighting at all. It's just the dialogue is a lot about music and dance for this particular one. Go to the next one in through here. This is the Shinobi tribe, which is a female-only tribe, and they're sort of like a band of Amazons that sort of live in the forests in that particular area as well. They only have a couple of ways out of their territory as well. That'd be an interesting one to play as, actually. So I may even play as those. I'm not sure just yet. Then we've got the Holy Gustava Empire. And so this one is sort of like a bit based on Germany, a little bit based on a bit of Russia as well. There's certainly some of the names and things that have come in through that one. I've got to say, by the way, the dialogue and the translation from Japanese into English is exceptionally good. I've only seen one word that when I've been looking through things that actually I think, oh, that should have been a different word, but that's only been once, and that's very, very rare for any game, let alone a game where this is not their native language that has been built in. And so this is and this one here, I can't remember the background story here, but these guys are the ones that don't have a Brigandine, and a Brigandine is like a special weapon that has been crafted using the mana from the rune god essentially. And so their focus has been to always try to get hold of a Brigandine. All the other factions control one, like one way or another. In fact, if you go back to all of these, her belt is a Brigandine. Her sword is a Brigandine. His armour is a Brigandine. There's a Brigandine back in through there, that little sort of gem. And so they should all be different colours as well, like hers is red, hers should be green. These guys don't actually have one. This one down through here, I forget which parts, there's the Brigandine for this one. It may be more of their armour again, I'm not sure. But this one, theirs is purple, and these all relate to elements. There are like 5 elements in the game, and so this is the Mana Silesia theocracy, and these are sort of almost like your evil empire, I guess, to a degree. So that's sort of like where they are. It sort of starts off the game with the prince killing his father and sort of moving in from there. So quite a dark start for this particular faction. And then finally you've got the United Islands of Miralva. And I'm not sure where her Brigandine is. I didn't have a close look. It may be the sword again. I'm just not sure actually how that sort of does work. Or it may even be the corset. But and so what colour? Look, theirs look a bit red as well. There's also white. Maybe I don't know which ones are which with this one through here. But anyway, they also have good choke points into their island chain. So that's another group in through that side there. And their backstory is that she gets drunk. Her dad then decides, okay, well, you're drinking, so you're of a drinking age, so you can actually now go and take over the kingdom and go to town. It's really, as I say, it's that JRPG aspect I do enjoy it. And by the way, look, I will just give a warning. I know that some people don't mind it, some people do mind it. The figures in this will be fairly highly sexualized because of that JRPG aspect. So just a bit of a warning if you're not into that. There is that in the game. I guess I will have to try to make these a little bit sort of like viewer discretion advised, I guess, in that sort of sense. I like it, to be honest. I like it for the simple reason that I see it as a cultural art form, and similarly to like when you look at ancient Greek statues and things like that, you're going to get stuff that like you wouldn't see walking down the street. It's just an art form for me, and I actually appreciate it in that sense. So I've got no problems at all with that one. So we have to choose one to actually start as. I don't want anything sort of too difficult for this one. And what I prefer to do is really just take over one faction. Which way should we go? Which way shall we go? Should we go with this one here? Yeah, maybe we'll go with the Republic of Guimul. So let's just go and do that one. So if we just press select. So the ruler is Eliza Uzala. She's the daughter of Alden Uzala, the bedridden 15th president of the Republic of Guimurl. The sword of Ange awakens her upon realising the danger the country faces and tasks her with a new life-changing mission. Previously a ballerina performing with a secret identity, she must now accept her fate to don the Brigandine of Glory and perform on the stage of battle. So this is that whole dance sort of aspect to it. It is funny, these backstories. I won't get you to sit through too much of the JRPG stuff. I'll skip through mainly to the strategy and tactical side, but I will introduce you a little bit to it. So anyway, we'll confirm this one. So what we start off with is 8 bases, which is basically like 8 cities. These are rune knights, 12 rune knights. Mana reserves in through here of 905 mana and total monsters of 35. This will make sense when we get into the actual game itself. This is a brilliant game, by the way, just on a strategic level. It's an incredible game. So we'll just confirm that one. So I'll just press K. Okay, so this is now the setup for it, like how hard we're going to be playing now. There are a whole lot of different aspects to when you choose between easy, normal, and hard. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and you'll see there that easy is saying suitable for beginners. The enemy AI is normal. The limit is none. On normal, this is average difficulty. Enemy AI is intelligent, and the limit is 120 seasons, 120 turns. It's not actually there's 2 turns per turn or per season. You've got like an organisational phase and then an attack phase, and so just be aware of that one. Hard is for advanced players. The enemy AI is divine, and the limit is 2.5 years or 60 seasons. I'm going to play to custom, and I can't change the ruler's name, by the way. Like it is set to Eliza Uzala. The game, when it loads, is about 18 gigabytes, so it's a massively big game, and most of that is the voice acting. And as I say, even though it's Japanese, I love it. I love it. It's just so damn good. It's and even though I don't understand what's being said, it's just brilliantly done. It's just a beautiful game in that sort of sense. This is what I mean about that. This immersion into the cultural artwork of manga combined, with this incredible voice acting. It's just nobody does it like the Japanese in this sort of sense, and they don't have to worry about these. I guess the political correctness that the West has to the Western countries have to sort of worry about. So they do tend to. I guess it's almost got a bit of a charm to itself because they don't have to worry about certain things, which is really cool. I've noticed that with a few games that come from some of the Eastern European countries also don't worry too much about political correctness. And I personally think that that's a good thing. I don't think that games should have to, I guess, in one sense, pander to that too much. So that's just a personal thing. So in this sense, I do enjoy that they haven't tempered what they're doing, and it is very, very, very Japanese in its approach. So anyway, we're just going to press K again. Base difficulty. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to switch this to hard mode. Now, what this one does is it changes a lot of things in the game. It changes the way that the AI, how quickly they'll attack you. They'll attack you on turn 2 is about the earliest that they will actually attack you. So we've got the first turn to do whatever we want to do. The second turn we have to start to be careful. If you're on, if you go back to normal mode, they'll attack. The earliest that they'll attack is on turn 3, and if you go back to easy mode, the earliest that they'll attack is on turn 4. So just be aware of that. So you've got like 4 turns if you're playing on easy mode to set things up. Also, if you're playing on easy mode, if they've got any of their rune knights that aren't doing anything, 50% of them they'll send off to level up and do quests and things like that. On normal mode, it's about 75 or 80%, I think, and then on hard mode, it's 100%. And they don't leave any rune knight not doing something. And that's the way that you should play as a player as well. So we'll be playing on hard mode. Also on hard mode, they flesh out their armies as best they possibly can. Like they aim for 100% of all their mana points for their armies, so to really maximize the most amount of damage that they can do when they're in battle. Whereas I think on easy mode it's like 50% or 60%, and normal is like 75 or 80% or something like that. So again, I think it might be 80% for on normal mode. So if you're good at fleshing out and building up your armies, you're going to find even normal is going to be a little bit one-sided. And I'm finding that with the little bit of gameplay that I have played with the game, I think not hard will be my level. Now the time limit, I can go through here. I can either go no limit, 5 years or 2.5 years. I'm just going to play on no limit with this one here, but we'll still be playing with that hard difficulty. It just means we don't have to rush. Now, the CPU defensive AI is don't guard the castle hex, which means that basically just go off at any and roam around wherever you want to go, or guard the castle hex. Now, this is the castle hexes give a lot of bonuses. So, and I'm not sure what the default is for hard. So, I'm just going to go random with Battlefield. I think I've noticed that when I do play random with Battlefield, they do tend to guard the castle hexes more than not. So, I'll just leave it there. Now, monster capture. If you leave this one on and kill one of the other rune knights from the other side, sometimes some of their units will be left on the battlefield. They won't attack you, but if at the end of the battle, if you control the battlefield, those units will then switch to your side, those monster units. So it's sort of a one way to sort of get monsters across. Monsters are your basic fighting units in the actual game itself. There's no human, like there's no pikemen or sort of archers or anything like that. It is purely monsters that are fighting like with the rune knights. Quest success rate. I'm just going to go to, you can sort of flick this around to whatever you want. I'm just going to go to no change, and this is no change from the base difficulty. This is one of the other things with the difficulty. If you're playing on easy, the quest success rate for the player will be 100% all the time. They'll always be successful in quests. If you're playing on normal or hard, it's just going to be, it's going to be sort of a bit more random. Mana acquisition, I'm guessing that's the same thing. Yeah, you can double who gets things. So if you are finding even on hard that the game is too easy, then ramp the mana levels up for the enemies by 2 times, for example. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with this customization, which is really, really cool. By the way, if you've seen old video content of the game from when it was in Switch, like from about a year ago, I think there's a fair few videos came out, the structure is different. So don't assume that you can just do the same things, the same sort of exploits that you thought you could do back then. There are some things that are a bit different now, which is actually, I think it's better for the game. If you send a unit on a quest now, it's a way for the combat phase, which means that it can't defend a location. So you have to be really judicious about who you send on quests and when you do that. Revival Stone access, I'm just going to go do from quests. You can do it per season where you sort of get Revival Stones, or per season for the enemy, or per season for everybody, but I'll just do it from quests. So we have to get Revival Stones, which means that if you have a unit that's killed, like a rune knight that's killed, you can bring them back essentially using Revival Stones. And then experience acquisition, again, no change from the difficulty levels in through there. I'm just going to go no change in through there. So I think experience acquisition, it's just on hard, it's even for everybody. There's no massive benefits the AI gets. It's just that they can sort of use the power of computing to make sure that they maximize what's actually going on there. So we'll just press K again to confirm. So K is really the key that you need to be pressing an awful lot. This is probably one of the negatives about the game, is just the fact that you've got to get used to using those sort of keyboards. I think I can press Enter. Yeah, Enter will do the same as K, which is good. I don't know about space. So Republic of Gumoil, custom, starting the game with Eliza Izala. Are you sure? I'll just go yes with a space bar. And that worked as well. Okay, so sometimes different keys will work. And now I'm going to skip the guide, but if you're a new player, I can show you where the guide is. I might do that when we're in game, so you can sort of see where that is. It's a very, very good document in the actual game itself. All troops directed to attack will begin their invasions at the same time. So, okay, that's fine. Actually, so I'm using spacebar at the moment, which is good. I will play a bit of this, just so you get a bit of a feel for the stories. Now, if I press K or click with the left mouse, often the left mouse will sort of do this as well. So this is a Council of Rune Knights, Republic of Gumoil. So again, this is going to like a JRPG trigger warning for those of you that don't like sort of sexualized women in skimpy armor. I'm guessing. I don't know exactly what's going to come up, but I'm assuming that's what this is going to be. So in the self-proclaimed birthplace of the Rune Knights, the sitting president, Alden Izalia, has not made a public appearance in half a year. So one of the councillors is saying, tonight, the night of the ballet contest and the streets are alive with excitement, yet it seems our president is nowhere to be found. So this is Kane, he's one of the Rune Knights. So even Gamor's greatest knight, President Alden Azala, can do little against the unending passage of time. As a precaution, it may be prudent to begin preparations for the election of the next president. The councillor says, indeed, Sir Kane, you speak with reason. Now what about Eliza? Eliza, says Kane. Shock, horror. Of course, she might not be as presidential as her father, but there are many who think that she would make a good president all the same. Kane says, if you ask me, all she has to offer is a garrulous drivel. So he's sort of against her taking the reins. And to think that she'd be governing our sacred country, the Rune Knights. I love the voice acting. Suppose it was silly of me to expect the son of President Azala's old rival to endorse his daughter. No, that's not what I... Speaking of Eliza, where is she anyway, says the councillor. I'm sure she's cavorting about the bustling streets and taking the sights like a wide-eyed toddler. You certainly don't hold back. Ha ha ha. Here she is. She was the daughter of the president as well as a Rune Knight councillor. But there's another side to Eliza Azala that no one knew about. A secret life. And in this world of ballet, she's known as Jill the Dancer. Jill, aren't you joining us for a drink? We're supposed to be celebrating tonight. Jill says, sorry, have a good night. And why am I not surprised? Knight, says the dancer. Jill says, who's there? Oh, here we go. We've got, please pardon the intrusion. I am but a hired guard, yet I beg leave to speak with you. You're from the Shinobi tribe. Yes, so this is the neighbours, basically. You look rather young. Is this your first time in the country? Yes, my name is Talia. I'm the daughter of Chief Della of the Shinobi. So this is the daughter of the Republic, and this is the daughter of the Shinobi tribe. Basically, that she's come to guard. She's a mercenary guard now in the Republic. So you can sort of see it through here. I'll just start to sort of skip through these things, but you can sort of see the artwork is beautiful. Actually, it's very nicely done. So it just goes through basically about how they like the dance, etc. And so the dancing will then play a big role in Eliza's discussions, I guess. So that cannot be. You dance as if you were a fairy with wings. Anyway, let's skip past this. You get the idea anyway. There's a lot of that. A lot of that. Strategy game time, guys. Strategy game. Here we are. So this is actually now the sort of setup for the game itself. So I won't be playing any of the tactical combat. I'll call this as an episode 0 because we really are just getting into the game itself. And I will start to set up this first phase. Now it goes into 2 phases, an organisation phase and then an attack phase. So each season has got those 2 phases. During the attack phase I can do a lot of different sorts of things. In fact, what I might do is just explain what we can do for the rest of this video, and then next video I'll just start actually playing the game. So I won't actually move things around, I won't actually show anything. So what we can see through here is we actually have, and there's a lot to look at in here actually. This game has got so much in it. It's so well polished. It really is brilliant. We can see at Gaga here. So at Gaga is the actual is the capital of the Republic, and you can see there it's got that little symbol is saying that our leader, which is Eliza, is actually at this location. We've got 5 Rune Knights, which we can see down through here as well, and that indicates 5 Rune Knights in through there as well. And it's got 17 monsters also at this location, and the monsters will generally be, if it doesn't have like in brackets any little number, it means that all the monsters have been allocated to specific units, and so, or specific knights. So all of the knights are actually in control of 17 monsters. We can see down through there that we've got that's the combat power of all 5, so 13,255, and this is the mana income that we have every turn, mana income of 570. Now if I just use I can use the mouse to sort of click around. This one here we've got 0 and 0, but we can see it's got 290 coming back in through there. Back over this side we've got 2 and 5, so I've only got for like 4,000. Now we're going to need about 12 or 13,000 at any choke point. Now if I zoom back out to this location here, This is a good map to sort of have a look at to see where the actual choke points are. And you can see there that we've got like potential battles there, potential battles. That's not an actual battle, but it's a road that is on a border. And so this one location is protecting us from the kingdom in the north and the tribe over through here, the Shinobi tribe. And so that location is quite important because it stops any of the incursions coming in. And so we do need to make sure that we have a good force there just to protect that. Now, if we expanded and took this one here, for example, we'd then still have potential attacks coming this way and potential attacks coming this way, so we need to defend both. Now, just so you're aware, the most rune knights that can be part of any particular battle at any point in time is 3. So really, for every one of these choke points, you need to have 3 knights available. So of the 12 knights that we have, we're going to have 1 there. We can see there's a road through this way. We're going to have another 3 there. That's 6. So that's 3. That's 6. And then when we look at this one, there's another choke point down through this way through here. And so this one here, we've got like another, potentially we have to keep this one with another 3. So that's 9, which means that we've got 3 knights left over that we can use for doing other things. So we can use them for example, taking this one, and then we'd have all 12 then allocated. Or we could go and like if we put an attack force in here, for example, we could take this location and then we'd have all these different attack areas coming in, but that would still be requiring only 3. So we could that's a bit of a freebie in terms of the strategy that we would be wanting to take. You can see through here, for example, that this location is like this for us. This is their one of those, and similarly over there and over there. This one here has a bit of an easier run because it can expand a little bit before it's got 2 expansions before it needs to start to worry about splitting its forces. So this one only has to have 6 knights to protect those borders, and these guys as well only need to have 6 knights to protect their borders. Whereas some of the others have got like a fair few. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They need 15 knights just to sort of protect their borders, and these guys need 1, 2, 3 to protect theirs. So 9 knights in through there. And each of the factions do have a slight difference in what they can sort of then recruit as well. So that's sort of where we are in the sense of the grand strategy with the selection. Another thing we can have a look at. So that's the rune knights, the locations, and the monsters. The H key, the info, is really, really, really important to sort of just get your head around. So let's have a quick look at that before we sort of end this particular session, and then we'll go through the specifics. Actually, if I go click on this one here, for example, I've got menus that I can then go to, like troops will then let me manage the troops at this location. Let's have a quick look at that one so you can sort of see. And then when I go into this screen, I've then got units, equipment, costume items, consume items. Then there are consumables. We won't have any just yet. Classes. Some of them will have like upgrades that become available when they hit like level 10, and similarly, sometimes our forces can then sort of change. And this is very, very, very detailed and in depth. You don't have to know about it. You don't have to play it that way, but you can really min-max your forces if you want to. So just be aware it's a simple game to play and a difficult game to master. So and it's really, really interesting in that sort of perspective. Names, you can change the names of your monsters. You do get attached to specific monsters, believe it or not. But so you can actually rename the monsters, or you can actually get rid of them because they do actually have an upkeep cost of mana. So you have to sort of manage that upkeep cost along with the sort of like with the mana income that you actually have as well. So you need to get more and more locations to get more mana income, but you don't want to be sort of having to spend a lot more mana. The cost here is not the cost, the upkeep cost. This is the cost to bring them into an army. So you can see through here, if we have a quick look at this particular troop, if I just go to units, and just that way I can sort of then select what's going on through here. So we've got this is Conrad, who's a knight, and he's got an ability where he can actually have he's got 216 mana points, which is what these costs are that we see down through here. So he's got 111 left that he can actually then bring in. So I could sort of think, okay, well, let's go and switch that one up into there. If he's got 61 left, throw that one into there. He's now got 31 left, and she's now got nothing, and so she's got 147 that can then be added. Now we can also then summon monsters in from different locations, but we'll look at that in a different way. I'll do that more in the game. So we'll just get back out of there. Anyway, I have now moved all of those across into his area. Not that it really matters that much. But so that's sort of how the troops then work. You can summons from different locations while I'm here at this particular base. So I can go across. The things we can summon from this location are high dogs, which then also upgrade into like hellhounds, etc. We've got lizard men in through this way as well, and dragons. Now dragons are my absolute favourite unit. They do cost a lot, but they are well worth it. They've got good attack values and good defense values. So they've got a heap of hit points. They are really cool units. So for me, they're the ultimate units in the game. There are a few other good units as well. Like some of the units are cheaper, much cheaper, that you can then sort of use. So ultimately you start to craft your armies around what's going to be able to attack and what's not. Like these guys here are good at attacking from swamps or from water, and these guys here are good at sort of being able to do like almost like an attack and then run away. So they can actually sort of bounce in and out of fights a little bit, which can be quite cool actually, like depending on how you use it, but it can be a little bit nuanced. And there's heaps of other different units in the actual game itself. Anyway, that's the summons. Moving is just moving the knights with their monsters around. You can't move monsters around on their own. Quests are interesting. I'll show you the way this one actually works. And so the quests, when you have a look at a quest, and we'll talk about this in detail in the game, we have, like for example, when I hover over the knights over here, we then sort of see back over this way the different quest locations. We've got the Alza Strait. Now the outlook for Conrad is that it's basically it's only 2 levels. So it's not fantastic, but he actually has 3 levels at the Isle of Linu. So his level and his class, being a knight, is sort of synonymous with trying to get things from the Isle of Linu. And so if we did this one here, we can get like requisition stones. That's what that is there. So if we do actually have somebody that gets injured, there's a chance we can pick them up from there. We can also pick up like monster items in through here that are suitable for monsters and or heroes, and also certain other horseshoe type things, so mounted units. So some of these are very specific, and some of them are more general with what we sort of see. And these are the sorts of things he may be able to pick up. So where we find, okay, he's got the same corresponding one there, corresponding one there. He does have that one as well back over this way, and you can also then pick up this one over this side. So it's sort of like possible rewards are sort of the things he might pick up, whereas Patricia is, like if I hover over her, you'll see that she's really poor at everything. And if I just go and click on this one, just so you can see it very quickly, if I go and click on him and then just press K to confirm that, and then just go across, as I hover over, you'll notice that these things chop and change. The level doesn't. It's trying to, anything over level 16 will be the maximum that it can possibly be. But when I look at the others, the class, sometimes the class will do well through here. So the class for the Alza Strait is not great. You can see it's got like a slight down arrow through there. This one here, the class is actually suitable. So this one here, we've got the level is suitable, the class is suitable. It's not ideal, but it's up there, which gives us a much better chance to then pick up something from this particular quest. Down through this one, it's only 2 again, and you can see the class is the one that's actually changing. I can also send units off on training runs, and we do want to do that if we've got units that are close to level 10. Level 10, they then get to level up and they become much more powerful. What I'm going to do before, like we've got the battlefield, we can then look at the actual. This is the map of where different units will come from the different sorts of angles. So if they're coming from Harmonia, they'll come down through this road across this river. And so this is sort of this is the tactical battles. That one through there is internally, that's internally. Then we've got Orsil back across there, and we have another one coming up this way as well. So these are the choke points coming into the actual location. So these, I think we control everything on this side of the river. We don't control anything from the other side. So we can almost then sort of think, okay, well, if we're defending this location, all we have to really defend is a river. So what do we need to defend a river? We need water units to actually do that. So lizard men would be great in this instance because they get bonuses by being in the water. So that's actually something we could actually do if we wanted to. Anyway, that's just the battlefields. Manage items. This is just items that people will have. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And then ending the phase ends a whole phase for everything. We don't want to do that. If we just go across to the info, which is the one I do want to sort of show you now that we've got a bit of context. So this one here, we're playing it. This is the faction that we're playing. Again, if I press the T key, I can go back and look at all the other units in the T and O. So I can sort of go through and actually look at the Shinobi tribe, Gustava, Mana Silesia, sort of the evil guys, and also then of course the Morelva tribe, which is which are the tribe of pirates, essentially down the bottom there, or all. We can sort of go through all of them. And so this one here, and I'll talk this in much more depth with these, but this one just gives you an idea of what you can summon from different locations. So it may be important. You may sort of at some point think, okay, well, I really need somebody to actually just keep on shuffling certain types of units from the rear. Like when we have a look at this one, for example, we've only got a couple of locations that can get centaurs, which are ranged units. So that would be something we may be wanting to have a bit of a look at with these two different locations down through here. We also have the actual knights that we have available to us as well. And so I can sort of scroll through these. We get to see their level, their combat power, their status, what monsters they're currently controlling, their bases that they're in. I can sort by these as well, by the way. If I want to see, okay, well, here's my most powerful knights. There we go. We've got a level 21, 20, 90, 19, 16, etc., running down through the levels through there. If we go across to, and I've also got other aspects as well. Like if I press the I or Y key, I can then sort of step through where we start to see, oops, hang on, that's the monsters. I'll just go back to knights. It's the A and D keys. If I just go to next ones, we then sort of start to see equipment with attack elements. I'll talk about this when we're playing in the game. What their proficiencies actually are, what their classes are. This is their experience, what their rune power is, hit points, mana power, strength, intelligence, agility, attack and defense. It's very, very detailed, and you do become very used to them as you're playing. This is in depth, looking at the actual armor. And similarly for the monsters, when we have a look at the individual monsters, so we've got these down through here. This is a special type, which we'll talk about when we're in game. This is our best unit, our best monster unit, and this monster unit is with Eliza. Generally, your leader will have one unit with this little symbol down through here, which means that it's been given special powers. So every faction starts off with like an uber unit. And if I do it by combat power, that one's going to be the top of the tree, and then we've got like a water unit down through here, a water snake, which is our second highest. So it would be, for example, it might be important to bring a water snake back to that other location because we know what is going on with that river. Like having one of these to protect the river would be a really, really cool idea. Anyway, that's sort of where we are with the monsters. They also then have like different ways of looking at their equipment, their attack elements, what their levels are. Like their levels are really important to sort of know who's getting close to level 10. You can see there that those dogs go up to Hellhound when they're back in through this side once they actually reach level 10. So we've got, these are like the second level of units that we actually have in through this side. We've also then got, again, their magic cost, their hit points, their experience, etc. Specifics about any actual equipment that they actually have, and then back to there again. Well, I've gone over time, and I didn't think I would actually with this episode 0, but that just gives you a bit of a rundown. Actually, by the way, from this screen, this is why I like this screen so much, you can do a lot of sorting from here. You can do you get a lot of information from here. If you're new to the game, make use of this screen. That's a big tip. And also, if you're going to be doing anything to do with your items, quite often you can manage your items from all sorts of different locations, and you can also summons from all sorts of different locations. And I'll show you that in the next episode. Anyway, but from here, if I press N, I can then go through the actual items that we actually have. So we've got 2 swords. Everything will be allocated at this early stage. And so these all do different sorts of things. Here's the Glory Brigandine. This is what the name of the game is. So basically the Brigandines, the 5 Brigandines that are in the game. And so this one here gives us red power. So it gives us 2... actually, that's interesting. So it's actually, I thought it was the sword, but this one here is actually armor. And so it's giving us 2 red protection, essentially, with what she can then sort of do. Back in through other ones, the Steel Helm gives her... actually, Steel Helm there gives her... What does it do for her? 8 defense. Okay, so just 8 defense in through there. The Command Helm through here actually drops his hit points, but does give him rune power of another 15. So you can swap these around with your different units as well. These are like trinkets or brooches or collars or whatever else they might actually be. You've got like hero only ones, and then monster and or hero back in through this side. So we'll sort of see that quite often these will then sort of also have some of the same sort of things, like Crimson Staff is also considered to be, there's a possibility that could be used on a monster as well. So same, it's just preceding it through there. But again, there's a lot of information here. Right click will then undo, or J key will do that as well. But I'll leave it here, guys, and then we'll get into the actual game in the next episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you're as excited about this game as I am to play it. It's so surprising to come across this game. I'm really, really rapt to be able to present it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.